this episode, we will understand put API implementations using Hapi JS. So let's get started. We have a project setup configured with Node.js and Hapi for implementing the put API. The details of this implementation is available as another episode which we had covered earlier. Please find the link in the description for the same. We will be using a JSON file as a source of data with which we will work. So let's go ahead and create the data source file. First, we'll create a folder called data, within which we'll create a file called products.json. This will contain a listing of a few products. We have the data already prepared and we have just pasted it. As can be seen, there are a few product listings here with some attributes. Next, we will make this data available to the application. For that, we'll be using the file system module for reading the contents of this file. Next, we will read the file contents using read file sync function from the file system module. We will then parse the content of this file and make it available as a JavaScript object. Now we will implement a get API. We will need this API to verify whether the put API, once it is implemented, is functioning as expected or not. Let's go ahead and implement the get all API. For that, we will again call server.root and define a mapping, a handler function for this path. The method will be get. Path will be products. Handler function will be where we'll put the actual logic for returning the data. This will return the product list. Now let's verify if this API is functioning as it should. As we see here, we are getting a listing of all the products when we make this API call. Next, we'll implement the put API. Again, we will define a handler function for this path. Method will be put. Path will be products. And it will also contain a path parameter, which will be the product ID for the product that needs to be updated. We will define the logic for handling the put request here. So here, first we will capture the request body, which will be containing the updated product details. This can be obtained by calling the request.payload. We will also define a variable to identify whether a matching product was found for the provided product ID in the path parameter. Next, we will iterate through the listing of the products to find a matching product with the given product ID. We can get the path parameter value by calling request.params dot the path parameter name. If a match is found, we will change the boolean flag to true. We will then set the ID for the product data that was passed in the request body to the ID of the matched product. We will next replace the product in a product list with this updated product, and then we'll break out of this loop. Next, we have to return a response back for this API call. If a match was found, we will return the updated product details. If a match was not found, we will return an 404 status code with an empty body as the response. We'll be using the second argument to the handler function, which is the response toolkit, which contains many functions related to sending the response. I think something went wrong here. Let's verify what did we miss here. There was a typo here. We named the handler's function, the handler's key incorrectly. Now let's check. First, we'll again call the get API and see if that is still functioning, and that is working fine. Next, we'll make a put API call. We'll try to update the product with ID 1. We'll copy existing content and make some changes to it. Remove the ID and change the title and description for this product. Let's make the call now. And we see that we got a 200 response, and the updated product details is returned as part of the response with the ID also added to it. Now let's again call the get API and see if we can see these changes reflected. And as we see here, for the product ID 1, the title and the description has changed. We'll also try to call the same API, the put API, with an invalid ID and check what is the response that we get. And this failed. Let's check. What did we miss? I think we missed the return here. As we see here, for this ID we get 404 with an empty body. If you like this episode, please like, share and subscribe to keep yourself updated with our posting of future such episodes. Thank you.
At Spinsage, we provide digital consultancy services including web and mobile app development. For inquiries, please visit spinsage.com.